I forget which plugin it was, but I got a plugin that I was so excited about, and I think it like wasn't cheap, and it was like, oh, your computer's not up to date, and it won't be. I was on the most. It was one of the Sonable things. It's like this AI company that's making like new AI plugins. Like they have a really good AI EQ, I will say.
Really?
I use it every day. I use it on
adaptive
like speech
AI
stuff.
EQ.
Okay. When I'm like mixing people's podcasts, I'll do that, and then I'll like throw it on my drum bus from time to time to kind of like double check, like, what do you think?
Yeah,
How was that? They're like, it was pretty good, but like bring down 8K.
Wow. Okay,
interesting. But I downloaded one of their plugins, and then it was like, actually, you know what? All the other plugins were compatible, but this one isn't.
Yeah.
Cool.
We just decided.
Cool.
We just decided.
Damn.
Not this one.
That sucks.
I wish you would have told me that before, which you probably did, but I didn't read it.
Yeah, you didn't read the fine print. Cool. Are we rolling on everything?
We're cooking.
And it is Chianelli, correct?
Chianelli.
Chianelli. Okay.
Like Chicago.
I always ask.
Yeah.
Because
yeah.
even if the last
Rob
name
Chianelli.
is Smith, I could be wrong.
Yep.
And
It's Smythe.
yeah, it could be Smythe.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I do not want to introduce somebody
That's
incorrectly.
the American version, but the Italian is Chianelli.
Chianelli. Okay.
Is it really?
Yeah, C-H-I.
Chianelli is just the...
That's a...
Chianelli
the
almost has an
American- the New
Irish
York-
vibe to it.
The New York version.
Yeah.
Yeah, Leslie was saying you're a good cook.
Oh, yeah, I love cooking.
When she
Every
helped
day,
me,
every meal, I'm cooking.
Nice.
that's what she was saying. Like
Unless
when
I'm tired, and then we'll delivery.
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah,
then
that's
you'll
understandable.
order Italian.
Ex-
When she came over to help me with socials, she's like, "Yeah, I gotta head home. Like, Rob's making dinner."
yeah. Dang. Yeah. She said that was awesome. It went well.
She was great.
Yeah.
Honestly, she was
she's
great.
brilliant. She's just,
Yeah,
just
she
knows
came
her
over
stuff.
super smart, super
God.
like, just willing to help too, which was
That's
cool.
her best quality. She's a giver. She just wants to help people, and she's just very good at it.
She totally is.
Yeah.
Yeah. She came over and like helped with like Groove MPL
Oh, cool.
marketing. She had some good ideas.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, yeah.
And it was funny too. She was talking about like an idea of I could go to people's studios and do like a welcome to my crib kind of situation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like,
That's a good idea.
you could tell, like, we were just like brainstorming ideas, talking back and forth about just like what the idea is. Oh, that's always there.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm irresponsible. We were just talking about like ideas that Groove MPL could do, and I'm like, I'm always going to people's studios for these things, and you could see like the thought come into her head. She's like, oh, well, like you could go to the people's studios and like do this whole thing, and she got like so excited about it.
Yep.
And I was like, yeah, sure,
Dude,
it's a great idea. Like it took me a second to like figure out that it was a good idea, but yeah, she's great.
I'm always like 3 steps behind her with what she's thinking, because she's just so fast and smart, and I'm just like, okay, I gotta catch up. It's great.
She's great, super sweet. Yeah, you're doing cool stuff too.
Thank
You
you.
know?
Thank you. Yeah. Hey.
And have done cool stuff, and
Yeah, man. It's I've got a good story. You know, I've got like, it's balanced, because I started with the band playing drums for We Are the In Crowd. There we go. Band We Are the In Crowd.
yeah,
Pop punk, high energy, and traveled the world. Got to go to 5 different continents, and
That's cool.
Just live out my dream, you
Yeah.
know, and did that for 7 years, and then the band broke up, and it led me to Leslie though, because she was working in the music industry under
was she
artist
really?
management. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Here in Nashville, she went to Belmont, and so
Right.
she was out of Belmont. She got her job at the artist management, and she was working under the band Mayday Parade. And
Oh, yeah.
my band toured
sure.
with Mayday Parade everywhere. And so she came out to a show in Memphis, funny enough, and like we met briefly, shook hands, and then like when she was leaving, I remember like I was like walking back into the bus, and like she was leaving the show or whatever, and like I looked at her, she looked at me, and it was like a little moment. I was like, oh my God. And then she left, never talked to her, and then just because we had mutual friends, she, messaged me on Facebook and was like,
She messaged
I hope you feel better because I made a post that I was sick. She's like, oh, I hope you feel better. I'm like, wow, that was really nice. Like, I remember her. And then we started talking, and then we've just never stopped talking. And we just became best friends. And then now here we are, married, and we've been together for 10 years.
Wow.
And I just hit 10 years in Nashville yesterday.
Yeah, I saw you
Yesterday.
made a post.
Wow.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I know. So
That's cool.
it's crazy to think like how much my life has changed in 10 years. So,
Yeah.
A lot of good things, a lot of not so good things, but that's how it is, you know.
Yeah,
so,
for sure.
But I'm just I was like in awe of all the things that have changed from making that decision to move from upstate New York to here.
Yeah.
Because there's not much to do in upstate New York, especially if you're a musician.
Yeah.
You know, the music scene was good, like being in a band growing up, and it was awesome. But there's not many opportunities, and so it was just my gut was like, you got to move to Nashville.
Yeah.
You know, and then as soon as I got here, it's like Doug the Pug went viral overnight, 20 million views.
Yep.
And I was like, okay, the band just broke up. Doug the Pug just went viral. Let's make all these videos. And luckily I went to school for video production. So
Okay,
I knew how to edit.
really?
I knew how to do all this stuff. You know?
Shoot,
So
you saw me set up all these cameras too. God dang it.
I just love like the camera and the nerdy stuff about that too. So everything I knew about that just worked out, you know, and just being creative with her was just so fun. And with your dog, it's just like what is like, this is just like the whole time we're doing it, we're just like, we're ridiculous. We're in public holding him up with a burger next to him and spinning around, and like people are watching us, and we're just like, we look crazy. But then you watch the video and you just die laughing. So
Right.
yeah, and then you know, now I've gotten to last 5 years. I started getting to producing and
Yeah.
just getting creative in the studio.
Yeah.
Built out a little studio in my basement, which has been amazing. And so I still get to do rock music, right? And so get that high energy out of my system. And then in the last year, getting diagnosed with multiple sclerosis was, you know, just knocked me off my feet.
Sure.
Just took me down.
Can imagine.
Took me down. It came out of nowhere. One day I was building my chicken coop in the backyard. It was in May. And so May here, it gets already hot. It was
For Pete's sake.
it was like 85, 90 degrees already. I'm digging holes, just sweating, getting really hot, feeling like really weird. My leg went numb. Like my foot went numb, my leg went numb. And I'm like, what is going on? Like, I got to go lay down. I went inside. I'm like, I don't feel right, Leslie. I'm like, I don't know what's going on. I can't feel my leg. It's weird. Like, I'd put my sock on and like, it'd feel weird. It'd feel like, I can't even explain. It was like tingles.
Was it like it was the whole leg, or was it just
no,
the
it was
part,
like,
or
it was, at first it started on the foot, and then it was like,
it like grew?
yeah, it would move around.
Interesting.
And then that night, she actually found a tick on my back.
Yeah.
Because I was outside. I'm like, oh, God,
Yeah.
what is this? And
like
I thought
Lyme
it was-
disease
I
or
thought it was
something.
Lyme disease.
Yeah.
Just really freaked out. And then I ended up going to a doctor that was like a naturopath doctor because I was super bloated too, and I was just not feeling well on that end. So he got me, you know, all these tests and everything, and turns out I had a parasite. I had fungal overgrowth, and I had SIBO, which is like really bad bacteria in your small intestines. So
It's like your gut biome.
exactly.
Yeah.
So it was like they did the test, and everything was in the red. Like just all
gosh.
inflamed. I'm like, oh, that's not good. He got me on like anti-parasite and antibiotic. The next day, I couldn't get up. And for 2 weeks, I was like bedridden. And I was like, this isn't right. I don't know what's going on. I thought it was a bad reaction to the medicine. You know, I was like, oh my God. And then all of a sudden it went away. I'm like, oh, that was weird. I'm like, now I'm back. Right.
yeah.
And so, yeah, the summer goes on, and it was fine. And then we launched our business, Noni Pup, which is an all organic dog product company.
Which I just gave my girlfriend some shampoo.
Yes.
For her new pug, and she loves it.
She loved it. She has a pug.
She's got a baby. Yeah.
Pickles.
Pickles?
She's actually known of you guys for a bit. But yeah, she's got like this like cute little 5-month pug. And for Valentine's Day, when Leslie came over to do,
She brought the shampoo.
She brought the shampoo.
Amazing.
So I can't attest.
Amazing.
The shampoo is approved.
Yes. So we got a lot of products, and so we were also that summer we were getting ready to launch Noni Pup, which is a lot of work, a lot of stress.
It's a huge curveball to get hit with.
Yeah, like
in the
just
process of
not feeling well when you're about to launch a brand new business where you pretty much invest all your savings into is it's very nerve-wracking. You're like, I hope this works. I hope it goes well. And then we launch, everything's good, and we were like, okay, so we planned a vacation to Australia. Right, we're like, I've been with the band, but Leslie's never been, and we're friends with the Irwin family. Which is very, very fun. Yeah. They're amazing people.
Oh, yeah. They're super, like, they've got, like, a whole foundation and everything with...
Yes. They're wonderful people. And I grew up, with watching Steve Irwin.
Of course.
Everyone did,
We
right?
all did, yeah.
He's a legend.
So cool.
Yeah, so Leslie became friends with Bindi Irwin because Bindi was going through troubles with endometriosis. Leslie struggled with endometriosis and basically helped her get diagnosed with endometriosis, helped her get set up to get her surgery, and gave her all the tips in the world because Leslie just went through that in 2020.
Yeah.
Past 10 years, she went through that.
Oh, gosh.
It was like I was helpless. Nothing worked. She went to millions of doctors. She had a surgery for it here, and they did the wrong type of surgery, but they got her diagnosed with it, but they did the surgery that just kind of burns it off. And
it's like a Band-Aid solution, but not a real...
Yeah, and the doctor was just like, well, you can either get pregnant or go on the pill to fix it. And like that's not true at all. So
I was going to say, how does...
Yeah, exactly.
Pregnancy is the cure?
And she also
crazy cure.
She also said it wasn't even that bad. And we're like, what? So she kind of like downplayed it for us. The next year, it came back times 10 for her. So she was in extreme pain. And we got her to a specialist in LA. And like she had the surgery where they go in and take it out. And oh my God, it changed her life. She's pain-free.
It's all good.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's
all
good.
good.
That's
She's
great.
pain-free.
Great.
And feeling so much better. But now Bindi comes along. Robert was like, I think my sister is dealing with what you dealt with. So they got in contact and talked and basically helped her out. She got the surgery as well. And they invited us to come to Australia, right? So we're like, wow, that'd be amazing. So we go and we travel, the 22-hour flight to get there. And I'm so stressed. And this is me, like how my brain works. Like for the month before going there, I know that I'd have to rent a car and drive on the other side of the road.
Yeah.
And I'm like, every night before going to sleep, I'd be like, I'm terrified. What am I going to do?
Doing the Australian driving simulator on the
But what am I going to do? And so it was just very stressful. And so, but we had the trip of a lifetime.
Totally.
We had the trip of a lifetime, but while I was there, I had a horrible seizure.
Oh, gosh.
Horrible seizure. And Leslie thought I was dying in front of her. It was awful. And I just, I didn't even know. They asked me what kind of coffee I want. And then the next time I wake up, I'm in an ambulance.
Yeah.
And so I didn't know. I've never had seizures in my life before. And it was just out of nowhere again. So go to the hospital. I'm like, please, I hope I don't have a brain tumor. Like, what's happening? I go into, and this is a really interesting story. So I'm in the stretcher and about to go into like the CAT scan machine, right? I'm sitting there, I'm just like, please, like, give me a sign. This is not brain cancer. And all of a sudden, like the nurse's office is right next to me. They're like playing music or whatever, like on their computers, like doing work. And the radio switches and Ocean Avenue from Yellow Card starts playing.
Sure.
Like right to the chorus.
Yeah.
And I played drums on like from front to back Ocean Avenue in the UK with them in 2016. And I was like, that's a sign that everything's gonna be okay. And it was just
something to latch on to.
Yeah. And then I had the CAT scan and they came back like everything's clear. So here's some anti-seizure medicine, get home. And so we cut the trip short, and I traveled all the way back home. And mind you, my eyesight this whole time, like before the trip, my eyesight got really bad.
Oh, really?
And couldn't explain it. Like everything was super bright, but also super dark. And I couldn't read road signs. Like I couldn't distinguish. My eyes just weren't working properly. I was wearing sunglasses all the time, indoors, outdoors. Fluorescent lights are the worst thing ever for me.
Yeah, Target.
It's just,
Target with the white tiles and fluorescent lights drives me crazy.
Yeah, any place like that, because they flicker, but you can't see it, but it sends your nervous system into high.
Yeah.
Anyways, I get back. Long story short, I get back. I'm going to a Lyme specialist. I'm going to my normal doctor. They don't know what's going on. My normal doctor said it could be carpal tunnel. I'm like,
no way.
That'd be wild if he was correct.
I'm like, what are you
Can you
doing? Like,
imagine?
we just knew no, you know. And so, luckily, a friend of a friend got me in touch with Vanderbilt's chief of neurology, which was like a godsend.
That's great.
Yeah. And so they got me in within the week, and then he was like, okay, like I had MRIs. And they're like, okay, you got to go to the MS specialist. I'm like, okay, like, let's see.
This is not, you had not been diagnosed.
No,
at this
not
point,
at all.
no.
We had no clue what was going on at all. And it just feeling horrible, eyesight horrible.
Yeah. They just went ahead and sent you to the MS specialist.
Yeah. Because I had the MRI and he was looking at it. And, you know, if you don't know what MS is, I wrote it down here because it's easier to just say it. So multiple sclerosis is an autoimmune disease where the immune system mistakenly attacks the protective layer of the brain and the spine called the myelin sheath and the spinal cord. And this damage basically disrupts the signals between the brain and the rest of the body, causing symptoms like fatigue, numbness, trouble walking, muscle weakness, and vision issues. I have RRMS, which is relapsing remitting. Which is the most common, which is the most treatable. But there's also progressive MS where it gets worse over time.
Oh, gotcha.
So,
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I didn't know that there was. I always thought it was just a progressive.
So
disorder.
So there's different types. So I have the most common one that's the most treatable, which is also very good.
That's great. Yeah.
So I went to the MS specialist here in Nashville. They have a Vanderbilt. I can't say anything better about them. They're incredible.
Great.
And they diagnosed me, and they got me on the right medication, which is also a godsend. Like I inject myself in the leg every month, and it gets delivered to my door, and it depletes my B cells. So it depletes part of my immune system that is attacking the brain and the spine. So I've been on it for 1.5 years now, and I'm feeling much more myself.
Yeah.
Much more myself. Like, obviously, like, with this, like, every day is different. I like to say that it's kind of like having a drunk person in the backseat of your car that will just, like, randomly do things to you. And you can't control it. You can't tell them no. You can't kick them out of the car. You just have to deal with it. And so...
what kind of things?
Weird.
Like, how do you think that affects your drumming and...
I mean...
just life outside of it?
Fatigue, and I mean fatigue, like sometimes where I'm eating and I can't lift my arm to feed myself. It's
Really?
that tiring. I can't. If I go,
It's tiring
check the
to do.
mail. If I go check the mail and come back, I gotta like take a nap. You know, it's like,
Wow.
and that comes on whenever it wants to, and it goes away. And you can get a symptom and have a symptom for a day, a week, a month or two, and most of the time the symptoms go away.
Yeah.
But it just comes and goes. And
Now,
it
with
just-
your medication, are those symptoms still present from time to time, or is it mostly not noticeable?
the medication does not do anything for the symptoms.
Okay.
Yeah.
I gotcha.
So the medication stops it from
Just
progressing
protects.
worse.
Yeah, it protects
you know?
your myelin sheath.
Which is interesting because you think like, oh yeah, but you know, but as I have noticed that now I've been on it for 1.5 years, And I'm on other medications too, like on ADHD medication that's been helping, and then that's actually been helping with my fatigue a lot.
Oh, for sure.
So I can make it through the whole day now without having to nap.
That's great.
Which is incredible, and I can actually focus because when I got this, I've always had ADHD, and I never was on medication for it, but this kind of set everything on my body on fire. So anything that I did have just is worse, right?
Yeah,
it's like, so ADHD,
exacerbated all of
I would
it.
wake up in the morning and just be like frozen. I'd be like, I don't know what to do. Like, I know I have to do all this stuff, but I just can't move. I can't think. I can't know what to do. Like the normal, like the manager in my brain was just like checked out.
Offline.
He didn't show up to work.
Yeah.
And so that's difficult. But now that I'm on that medication, it's helped too. And,
That's great.
And depression is also anher thing that is a symptom as well. A lot of people struggle with it because the first year is always the hardest too, because you're trying to get your footing and accept what is
a new
happening.
reality. Yeah.
Accept the new reality because I never expected that. Right. I never expected to have a incurable disease. You know,
it's nobody ever thinks it's going to be them.
You never think it's going to be you, and when it does happen to you, it shakes you to your core.
Sure.
And I was, this is where the meditation stuff comes in. I was spending a lot of time listening to meditation music, just closing my eyes, just trying to breathe, just trying to calm my nervous system because this affects your entire nervous system.
Yeah.
And I'm already kind of like this hyper emotional guy. Like I'm very sensitive, highly sensitive person. And so emotions and regulating my emotions and my nervous system is hard to begin with. So now on top of it was made it even worse. So yeah, I was diving in, and then one night I was listening to it, and I put it on before sleep too, right? Like, so I have it on my phone just playing all night basically. And one night I was just like, aha moment, like, I'm a music producer, like I'm a songwriter, like
I could do this.
I could do this, like why not? And so and the next day I'm like, I'm going in the studio, I'm just gonna try it. And so I sat there, I tried it, and while I was doing it, I was calm, I was relaxed, and it was like I'd close my eyes, and I was having fun with it at the same time. And then I released it and just started releasing more. And now on Pandora, it's just doing so well for me on Pandora. Like I'm up to like 13 million streams. And I'm like, oh my God, like this is like, it's kind of like, trusting the universe to do what you hear in your brain. Like this is a good idea. And then, and while you have the intention to put into it that you're going to help yourself and do it for yourself, but also help other people, that's like a win-win-win situation. So so Time in Mind is my artist project. So,
Time in Mind.
Time in Mind,
awesome.
yeah.
So well said.
So
all that was so great.
Yeah.
I know that was.
Sorry.
I
love
like
that.
to rant, I guess.
No, dude, that was great.
All of that
was great.
ADHD.
I wanted to ask a little bit more about, because I can certainly relate to just like nothing on this scale necessarily, but just like, you have things that happen in life that sort of redefine maybe a new reality that you have to accept, or just, like rock you to your core. What were some of those things that you did to, aside from meditation or in conjunction with meditation, to sort of recenter yourself and ground yourself and stay sane when it all kind of came to light what was going on?
Talking to, my wife, Leslie, just being as honest and open as possible with going on. Cause, I think as men, we hold our emotions in. We don't want to really say what's going on. We maybe feel ashamed of what we're feeling and we don't want to talk about it.
You don't want to burden somebody else with it.
Or we don't even know where to begin.
We don't know where.
Sometimes we don't even know how to put words to it too.
Yeah, and I think it's really important to like kind of like move past that and get past that, because we're not helping ourselves by holding it all in. And you're right, like you said, burden.
Yeah.
I think for a while I was just constantly thinking like, oh my God, like I feel so bad that I can't do the dishes right now. I can't, work right now. I have to lay in bed all day. And so putting that kind of burden on Leslie, I felt guilty, and which only sends you deeper into that darkness. And so talking to her in therapy and just realizing that, I was there for her with her endometriosis.
Sure.
She's there for me. This is what marriage is, and it's not always going to be butterflies and rainbows, but these are the things that can bring you closer together and realize that, I sometimes feel alone, and a lot of people with MS do feel that isolation because you don't know until you get it,
Yeah.
You don't know until you get it. No one can, and everybody that has MS has it completely different because your symptoms come wherever the lesion is on your brain or spinal cord, and wherever the location is, you get a different symptom.
Yeah.
So it's different for every person.
Well, and it's so relatively rare that it can feel very isolating. I'm sure, just because you don't just bump into other people with MS necessarily, unless you seek them out.
Yeah, and I've luckily met a few people here in Nashville that have it. I've been connected with other people too, and which it's also very good. The community is very strong, and you can relate to somebody and talk about it. So that helps getting centered back to myself. When I feel up for it, going on a walk, that helps. My animals,
for sure.
They are when I remember coming back from Australia, Doug was like, "What's going on?" He could smell our cortisol. And our stress. He can smell it. He knew something was wrong. He was sleeping up on my head every night on my pillow. Fiona, my cat, was sleeping on my side. And she never to sleep. So they knew.
Oh yeah, animals know. Animals know when something's off.
It's amazing. And so they're very comforting to me. Friends, family, and meditation. It's it's very, very helpful.
What do you do? What do you do for for a meditation? Because there's a few different ways. You got transcendental. That's what the Beatles did, where they would repeat something.
Mantras.
What is your approach?
Man, I like to listen to meditation music and sit there and focus on my breathing, obviously. And I love the mantra. I love the mantras, right? Yeah. It's just I like to tell myself, I am lucky over and over again. I am grateful. I am lucky. I am abundant in all types of ways, right? It's the more you tell yourself these things and the more you actually feel when you believe it, that's going to shape your reality, And if I'm sitting here thinking why me? Why I don't deserve MS. I don't deserve to feel this bad. I don't deserve to feel this isolated. That's, granted, yes, I've been there. I have thought those things. And we all do. We're human, but we can't stay in that. It's not helpful. It's not.
You're kind of piling the negativity on top of already the negativity that exists.
That's a good way to spiral. And changing mindset is everything. Most of this is mental. Most of everything is mental, right? That's the long game is changing your mind. And for a while, so I got diagnosed, and I think a month later, my friend Mike, who is the bass player in We're the In Crowd, he hit me up. He's like, "Hey, we just got an offer to play When We Were Young Festival in Vegas in October, a year from now." Originally, when I heard that news, I was like, "There's no way I can do that. I can't even walk to go get the mail right now. How am I going to do that? I can't play drums. How am I going to play a full set in Vegas?" Because with MS, heat is one of the biggest triggers because your nervous system can't work when it's hot, right? Everything gets inflamed. And so I was just like, no. I basically said no at first. And he was like, "You should think about it." I talked about it with Leslie. She's like, I think it'd be good to have a carrot dangled in front of you, a goal to have, right? I remember sitting down. So I have a Roland E kit.
Nice.
I love it. It's one of my favorite purchases ever in my studio. And so I sat down and I tried to play the first song on the album because we were going to play Weird Kids from front to back. And first time ever, I got through the half of the song and I was so winded and so tired that, no lie, I just weeped. I was like, I can't do this. And it's so demoralizing to have the one thing I like grew up doing, love doing, taken away from you in that moment. And I'm just like, oh my God. And so at that moment, I was like, I'm going to do this. Like, I'm not going to let this stop me. I'm going to do this. And so I spent, multiple days a week trying to practice, trying to get better, like doing rudiments, just moving. Because if I sat there and didn't move, then I wouldn't. And I got a physical trainer. I would go to the physical trainer's house and work out 3 days a week. Some days I wouldn't be able to do it. Right. And so I just would be graceful with myself and be like, listen, when I'm feeling like shit, don't do it. Rest. Right. But then when I'm feeling okay, then I'm going to push through and do it. And so I got stronger because I lost a lot of muscle. I lost a lot of weight.
I believe it.
Yeah. And so I just kept working out, kept pushing forward, kept practicing. And then time came. Sure enough, like I was on my medicine long enough. And then October came, we'd had rehearsals. And the first time we did rehearsals, because we had to play the whole We're the In Crowd Weird Kids album in, like, they gave us 30 minutes and the album's 31 minutes long. So we had to speed up some songs. And B, we had to cut some songs. So
or talk less between songs.
The first time we did it, and and this is pop punk, so it's fast drumming, and
it's a lot of energy.
It's a lot of energy, a lot. And so the first practice where I actually made it through the whole set, but I didn't even have time to sip water.
Oh gosh! So you just parched.
Oh
by the
my
end
God!
of it.
I like had to lay down. I was like, oh my God, what is happening? I have an ice vest, which is really cool.
Oh, do you really?
Yeah.
Oh, an ice vest.
It's very cool. It's like put it in the freezer, has like ice packs on the front and the back, and you wear that, and it keeps your body cool for like up to an hour.
That's cool.
It helps. It helps a little bit. So that was cool.
It's like what astronauts have on the inside of their spacesuits.
Just keep them cool.
Is that right?
Yeah, to regulate temperature.
That's very cool. So, but yeah, I mean, I made it through. I kept going, and after like the fourth day of practice, I was like, I got this. I'm back.
Cool.
I got this. And we got out there. I played the show. I crushed it, and I was very, very like.
Oh
just like hands in the air, best feeling in the world. Like, and after that, it gave me the confidence. Like fuck MS. I got this. Like,
you probably gained energy by the end of that set just from completing it.
It was just mentally,
just like the adrenaline of it.
The adrenaline, the just mental like battle, like getting through it. Like, and now in my everyday life, ever since I completed that show, I was like, oh, I can do anything. I'm not letting this stop me. And so, that was great. That was absolutely great. But
that's so cool.
It's huge.
So I have a question about. So you talked a bit about making meditation music. I've never put anything out or anything like that. I've dabbled in it because I like to meditate, and I'm not as diligent about it as I should be. But I wanted to ask. I always had a hard time meditating to my own meditation music because I'll start critiquing the mix. Do you ever
thinking about like the EQs?
Like, is that water droplet sound too loud?
Man, I should
have. Do you ever have
compressed
that,
that
or can
Of
you?
course.
That's great. That's so funny.
I just needed to know.
Oh yeah, man. If you're a musician or producer, perfectionism is a horrible thing, but we all have it. And so I mean, it is what it is. But for me, what's helped me is to not be so precious about it.
Yeah.
Like I'll do it and I'll get it as peaceful. It takes a lot of patience to make this music too. But I've got it down. I've got my template down, and so I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go at any point, and I just try and do it as fast as possible, almost.
Yeah,
not
just
overthink
stop thinking about the minutia.
Yeah, as soon as I'm doing too much melody, I'm like, I gotta pull back. It's gotta be like existing without grabbing attention.
Yeah.
And it's like
Nice.
it's so passive, right? It's the opposite of pop music. It's the
Nice.
complete opposite. It's like, no, you don't want attention. You just want it to exist. So when you're listening to it, you can go inward and not focus on the melodies or focus on the the mix of it. Yeah.
Yeah, I really like the idea of going through it like quick.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't overthink it. I pretty much like I'll get a pad going. I'll pick a key, right? And so depending on which key I'm like for me, like I love like A major is like very uplifting and peaceful sounding. Like so I'll do that a lot. Even C major, G, and just pick a key and I'll pick one root note, right? And I'll record it and I'll just like, set it the length I want the song.
Yeah.
And then I'll pick another synth and layer it with like, chords. And then I'll pick another synth and I'll go higher chords. And then after that, I have enough and I'll have the sub going too with the root note. And then I'll pick my melody on the piano where I'm just, peaceful like melodies and just little things that are like,
not too catchy,
but like
add some movement.
Yeah. And it's all about for me, it's like all about the space in between the notes, which is very important. And it's almost like a intuitive sense of when. And so I'll literally close my eyes and I probably look crazy while I'm doing it down there. Thank God I'm alone. But it's really cool to just sit there and just like trust yourself while you're doing it and have the intention of relaxing while you're making it because I feel like if I'm putting that intention into it, then the person that's listening to it on the other end will subconsciously get that energy, hopefully.
Speaking of the subconscious side of it as well, do you get into like the binaural, like the what is it, like sacred frequencies, or you ever try to get into that?
There's a whole science to that I really want to dive into more. But yeah, I know all about that stuff. I listen to like the healing frequencies and like 432 hertz is great for pain relief and all these things. It's because everything is made up of vibration, right?
Sure.
So clearly certain vibrations will do something to us.
Yeah.
And so I definitely am a firm believer in all that. So I want to dive more into it though.
What is some of that? Because I've seen like YouTube thumbnails about it. About like this.
Binaural beats is a little bit different because
I could have been using the wrong term.
Yeah, the right and the left are kind of like going like at different speeds or different frequencies even. So
gotcha. Okay.
It's almost like auditorily like EMDR therapy in a way, which is also another great thing to do. But yeah, it's very interesting.
The EMDR stuff I just learned about a few weeks ago. Cause that's the therapy kind of deal, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I had a friend that was at a Honky Tonk Tuesday that me and Jackson have gone to a few times. One of our friends there, he was talking about it, and it was like they'll talk through like a trauma in his past or something, and then the beats will the tones will bring him back to the present, and there's something about that like contrast that he was just like, I did that, and like I like bawled.
Yeah, dude, I've done it before.
By listening to a sound.
It's crazy because you there's multiple ways. You can have like the hand tappers that they give you where it'll buzz right, left, or you can have the headphones where it beeps right, left. And by doing that, it basically connects your left hemisphere and your right hemisphere of your brain together, which they're never doing that. And so by doing that, it will unlock stored traumas in the body.
Interesting.
And it's wild.
Yeah.
It's wild. So it'll do things like I remember when I did it, I just remember getting this vision of me being 12 years old and me and my family, we had to move from Connecticut to Virginia Beach. And I specifically remember being in the van in the back seat and we were driving away from the house. And I turn around and all my friends were on the street waving goodbye to me. And
just like the movies, dude.
That
I've never thought
in my entire life. And that brought it up. I'm like, oh my God, that was such a sad moment for me as a 12-year-old kid.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, oh my God. And it brings up sadness. And then you release the emotion that's been stored in your body for 25 years. And so by releasing it, it's like it gives you, it's like clearing your hard drive out.
Yeah.
You know? It's like,
The body will do crazy things. Like
wild.
there's some like I've heard some people go to like yoga class and there's like a yoga pose that will just do something similar. Like it'll bring up like a feeling that they haven't had in 12 years, and then they'll be bawling because they're in like downward dog. Just like because it's the body keeps the scorebook. Like there's memories in your bottom spine.
Yeah,
you know, all sorts of weird stuff like that. I've also heard though things like drumming and running, this repetitive back to back, right to left motion that's very particular to those two hobbies is really good for you.
I bet.
In turn, like that's kind of a meditative thing to have that back and forth. I don't know. I just think it's interesting. The body's freaking crazy.
I know.
Crazy thing.
Where the physiological and the neurological start to cross over is very fascinating. Just like what's the memories and where they're stored physically in your body is so fascinating. Yeah.
And if you know, we all have it, right? We all have past traumas. Like that's just kind of our it's a part of our lives. It's like how it shapes us, right? And so if you're actively trying to heal those things that are in you, then it's just going to do good for you, right? And good for anyone that you surround yourself with. Because if not, you're holding on to it. You're going to have resentment towards something, or you're gonna mistreat people because of the way you feel, right? And so
the layers you've added towards the reality of the situation.
And so like, you know, doing these kind of things and meditating and EMDR therapy, like it becoming your better self will only improve the world, right? It's like even your own community is so important. So
gotta take care of yourself.
Yeah.
There's a good quote.
Yes.
I love my quotes.
I know, man.
It's like, I'll take care of me for you if you take care of you for me. Right?
Yeah.
Like, take care of yourself.
Yeah. I love that.
For everybody else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very true.
Idea. Yeah. That's the whole thing. Speaking of taking care of yourself with music, you make music.
Nice transition.
Yeah.
Sick transition. Let's go. Yeah. Taylor with the transitions.
Also, future Taylor cut. What's going on, drummers? If you're looking to learn how to record drums from home or how to run backing tracks during a live show, because you know it's going to give you more opportunity in the music scene, we made Groove MPL just for you. So Groove MPL is a website where you can find a library of classes that are taught by the best of the best. So we've had Tim Buell, we've had Kip Allen, who you can hear on songs by Keith Urban, we've had Daniel Sauls, who plays for Lauren Daigle, and all sorts of other fantastic musicians. So my name is Taylor Friest, and when I moved here to Nashville, I saw the people that were becoming successful as drummers here, and they were the ones that really understood these other topics aside from just how to play drums, which is great, but as you try to grow in the scene, you realize you have to learn so much more to get these other opportunities. So if you're looking to dive into these topics and get some more opportunities in the drumming scene, you can sign up at groovempl.com with the code GGP, all capital, for Garden Groove Podcast, and get 50% off your first month. I look forward to meeting you all.
Okay, everyone's gonna get sleepy on this podcast now.
We're gonna get zen. There's a difference.
Guys.
There's a difference.
Get zen.
Get zen.
Zen up for my brain to go down to 7 hertz.
Yeah. So do you have like a normal process of where you like to begin, or is that
so
not
this
where you would like to begin? Also,
this is actually one of the first ones I've ever released, which is called Calm Water Symphony, and the ones I do now are completely different because since then I have, honed in on my template and made it so it's just everything I want is there to begin with. So it just makes the thinking less so I can just do it. Right. And so,
speed.
Yeah, speed. It's just like all about like capturing the moment. Right. And so, but typically I start with just the root note on like it's called what is it? The dark. I wrote them down, I think. 1 second.
Oh, take your time. No worries.
Yeah, like I'll use like the basic dark pad wheel. It's a very good. Just it doesn't move that much, but it's very calming, and I'll just keep that going. And then I'll add synth layers. Just keep doing it like with chords, and just like low, mid, high, and then I'll add like the keys and just take it one step at a time, and so not adding too much, and just knowing when it's too much to scale back, which is as a musician it's kind of hard, right? It's we all want to have something that's catchy, but in this situation I've had to like unlearn all of that, which is very, very interesting.
So we're not making a pop song.
Yeah. But this is one of the first ones I did, so it is different. But you'll see I have a couple of things here. Want me to just play it? And yeah. So this is kind of the vibe. Add little glitters like that.
It immediately made me more aware of the other sounds in the room, whereas like I was starting to notice like a little click noise over there.
Jackson, there's no sounds in this room at Garden Groove recording space. It's
that's right.
silent.
We have a perfectly silent room. No sound ever comes in or out.
Yeah, so that's kind of the gist of it, man. It's
how would you, if you were to go like stem by stem really quick, if you remember, how did this one get built out?
Yeah, I'd like to hear that too.
So this might be the one I started with, right? It's pretty much
that's kind of like
solid.
Your foundation.
It roots you into the foundation of it, right?
Yeah.
And then I'd add this one in to give it a little bit of texture and movement.
Can you give me where you got those synths again? I feel like you already said that.
Omnisphere.
This is all Omnisphere.
This is all Omnisphere, I believe. And then add strings.
Also Omnisphere.
To give you some harmonies, right? I love to use major chords because if it's minor, it's gonna evoke sadness.
Might summon some demons.
Yeah, sometimes that's good for certain emotions, but for this, I want peace. I want serenity, and just calm and comforting. It needs to be comforting. What is this? This is a liquid, I guess. It's like the liquid piano.
Can you totally solo that one?
Yeah.
I just want to hear.
It's piano, I believe.
Oh, cool. So it's a little more
pianos.
plucky.
This one's like...
that one's got like a little vibrato thing.
Yeah, vibrato, yeah. So that's we've got the LA... I wrote them down too.
LA Custom Grand. Oops.
It's a cool sound, like belly.
You belly a little bit.
Yeah. Bell-like? Should we be saying bell-like?
Bell-esque?
Bell-esque.
Perhaps.
Yeah, and then the shine is like little... Those glitters, right?
Yeah.
But those are like little hidden things that when it comes, it'll evoke like this, like a different thought, right? or a different sense of peace, or like because it's so mundane and just boring in a way, right? It's like you add this, like I call it the shine. It's like
the sun
shine
coming through the clouds.
Yeah,
a little bit.
Exactly. It's like a little sunlight, vitamin D hitting your face, and you're like, oh, that's so nice.
Yeah.
Like it's just like, and again, all of this is meant to be subconscious, right?
Right.
It's meant to be not loud. It's I listen to meditation music like honestly from my phone next to me, and it'll be like at like a quarter volume.
Yeah.
So it's not loud, right? It's not supposed to be this like, yeah, here I am. It's supposed to just be ambient in the ambience in the back.
Right.
And so that way you can focus on your breathing. You can focus on your mantras and just get centered.
But it is nice to have like, sorry, this is what I've been thinking this whole time. Because you have like micro frequencies of just like the notes themselves. And then you can have the song as a whole, you can have like, it goes in waves too, you know?
Yeah.
And like, especially if you're doing meditation music, you kind of do want it to kind of like remind you like, hey, I'm still here.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
like, oh, right.
Yeah,
and then it kind of brings you back.
Yeah.
So if it was just a drone the whole time, I'm sure you could do the same thing and you could like bring your attention back. But when it's kind of helpful when you have those waves.
Mountain valleys and
Yeah, that's a good way to put
exactly.
And you do a good job of like combining different instruments too to do that. It sounds like.
And it's just experimenting and seeing what works, what doesn't work, and then like I test every single one by myself, right? Like afterwards, like I'll play it from the phone. I'm like, would this fit in on the playlist that I listen to? I'm like, yes, it
would
does.
this blend?
Right?
Nice.
Would it? Or oh wait, no, that piano is way too loud. It needs to come down, and so I'll go back and adjust accordingly. But another thing I like to do is while I'm playing the chords on the synth, I'll properly like breathe, you know, like, and on the exhale, I'll
breathe into the chord.
I'll breathe into the chord, and then when I'm breathing, taking my next breath, I'll let go.
Yeah.
And so Leslie was actually like,
pretty cool.
She's into baths, so she'll take a bath and she listens to my music while she's taking baths. So
I love it. I love
it's
it.
really great.
Give you a little
'cause she
feedback.
she gets to like actually test it out too and
cool.
tell me like, if it's good, if whatever. And then she's like, this one like goes with my breath. I'm like, I planned that. And she's like, oh wow, you're so smart. I'm like, yeah, just if it's gotta flow properly, you know, and so.
I've sat in I was just gonna say I've sat in a lot of psychiatrists' offices throughout my life, and there's always a TV somewhere in the waiting room with a song kind of like this playing, and like a sunset with waves crashing on the beach.
Yeah,
and if it makes me think of that, I'm that's box checked.
And that's kind of like the next step with this. I do want to add in like field recordings of birds, of crickets, of water, of streams, of ocean, of those kind of things to just bring it in to nature too, because nature is just so healing in itself.
Sure.
So
And
and
natural.
those are huge too. Yeah. So I have
On
like
your
a
walks?
field recorder.
Yeah.
And so like I can, if there's an ambulance going by, maybe get some. Yeah, but maybe I need to take some trips to the beach and then.
Oh, I love that idea.
Go
Dude, Shelby's
record.
pretty quiet.
Yeah,
Shelby
Shelby.
Adams here.
Or even when I still do this to this day, every once in a while, just for future reference, if it starts raining really hard, I go outside and I just record like 15 seconds of it just in case.
Yeah, rain is one of the most popular nature sounds to listen to for people.
Yeah.
It's calming to a lot of people.
Yeah, absolutely.
They have like the little sound machines that people use.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or Spotify or Apple Music, you can listen to those playlists all night.
Those are so funny to me though.
Do you guys sleep with like sounds at night, or you sleep with
I do.
no sound?
No,
I
need
listen
my
to-
fan.
I listen
Fan.
to like history videos when I'm going to sleep.
Of course you do.
Yeah, I
Oh my
listen to, like,
gosh.
Here's this obscure battle
Very
from
boring.
1642.
And it's great.
This
Send
is
you right
what
to sleep.
happened. Yeah.
Sometimes when I need
sleep.
Jackson to sound check something, I'm just like, give me a history story.
Yeah.
He'll just
It's
like rant on history.
So there was this crazy battle that happened between France and Germany in 1642.
That's
I
great.
listen to the most obscure history
That's
stuff
cool.
to fall asleep to.
The sound machines though are so funny to me because it's just like this little like shitty box.
Yeah, no, I know. Yeah,
That,
no,
like-
like 16 buttons where you've got like,
Like
Yeah.
you could just
Soft
turn
ring.
it on and the white noise of that like
Yeah.
machine would be enough to
Yeah,
give
yeah.
you the white noise that you
Yeah,
need.
those things are pretty terrible sometimes.
The
Honestly.
bad ones are really bad, but
The
I'm
bad
sure,
ones
I'm
are
sure
really
the
bad.
good ones are really
The
good.
quality of it's like, oh god.
well, and like they're so obsolete when you could just go to Spotify
I
or
know.
even YouTube. Like I've done that too, like
Yeah.
just to meditate straight to a thunderstorm.
Yeah.
You know, just put on
Yeah.
a thunderstorm sound and
Right.
meditate to that or fall asleep to that. And
I think we talked about it when we got coffee the other day. But Corey Wong, someone told me, Corey Wong did this thing where he made just like a total blank album, right? Like
Yeah.
there's no
Nothing.
noise to it. There was nothing. And he was like, hey guys, like we need a few extra bucks. Like if you can just put this on when you go to sleep, it's silent. Just like if you play it, we'll get some money.
Genius.
get some
Genius.
streams.
It's totally genius. And then Spotify caught on to it. And Spotify was like,
Yeah, you can't do
you
this.
can't do that. Like,
Yeah.
take that down. And I guess, I guess Corey Wong made like 30K or something off of
Wow.
that.
wow.
I'm making that number up,
I
but
love that.
it was
Go for
5
it.
digits, I'm pretty sure.
There's a guy on Spotify that
Get that money.
he was
Get that
making
money,
a
dude.
full-time living doing he would make entire albums with just random themes. So he'd be like the fruit album and it would be like a minute and a half song of him being like, I love grapes. And then he'd just have another one, I love apples. And he would make just like
Wow.
hundreds of albums of just he had one with like put people's names and stuff and across different names too, like different project artist names and stuff. And
Yeah.
was making a full-time living off of it, and then Spotify like cracked down on him.
Oh my gosh. It's great.
Can't game the system for too long.
I
So
guess
funny.
not. I guess not. But hey.
I mean, but like,
Yep.
this isn't the reason why you're getting into this music, but that's where my mind goes of just like, it's probably pretty good for streams like that, just to get people to just like sit down and
Yeah.
listen to it, as opposed to like pop music, where like if I like when I go through my recently released on Spotify, like sometimes I'll just listen to the first like 30 seconds, like I get
Yeah,
it.
next.
Right, but like if you're listening to this kind of stuff, like you're
Yeah.
actually intentionally, which is kind of the purpose, sitting down and just like listening to it.
Yeah.
It'd be funny if you were going through a meditation album. You're like, you would only get 2 seconds saying like, no, this is trash. Like,
I
you
can't
want-
meditate to this.
or I should just troll everybody on the next one. I'm just gonna like have it like the first 2 minutes is just normal, and then I'll
Yeah.
just come in and say something. Just say
Oh.
something like, yeah.
yeah. Start plugging your dog food brand.
That would be good.
Yeah. I'm like,
What's up, guys?
nonnypop.com.
Yeah.
Nonnypop.com.
yeah, subliminally. Subliminally
this
just
is
great.
drop that in
conscience.
there.
Yeah. but also like, you know, if you work from home, you can put this on in the background, right? And
Totally.
just,
Yeah.
and just calm your stress while you're working,
Yeah.
you know, and just keep it going and just, yeah.
Absolutely.
I get that. Like I last year I was working for a marketing company and I would just like sit in silence in my house all day. And I like
Go crazy, right? It's
yeah,
like, no.
yeah. You feel like a madman, just like
Yeah.
it's so silent, but I need it to be silent because if I put on music, I'm gonna start critiquing the music,
yeah.
right? And I'm like, like my mind will just like
Yeah,
race when
yeah,
I'm listening
yeah.
to music. But like to have, that's why everybody loves like lo-fi beats and
Yeah, lo-fi
stuff like that.
beats or just like I love listening to like, you know, peaceful cello on
Yeah.
Spotify.
Oh, really?
My goodness. That's like at night, like, you know, turning that on, it's just like there's no better way to wind down than to listen to like calming classical music is just I love it. I love it so much. I'm actually, this is funny. Like my whole life I've played music, but I play it by ear. Like I don't know I don't know how to
theory.
read music. I don't know theory.
You're a Paul
So-
McCartney.
So I actually just started taking piano lessons to learn how to read sheet music and kind of like reverse engineer everything. And it's really cool. It's really fun. Like I'm sitting there playing like hot cross buns. I'm like, this is incredible. This is incredible. I can read that now. I know how to read that, guys.
Yeah.
It's humbling. It's very humbling, but it's also very good for my brain. Like especially with MS, it's like I need to, because reading is actually very difficult for me because like eye movements, like left to right, my eyes will go like this, like it'll jumble. Really? It can't just do a smooth motion. Yeah. I can't control my eyes the way I used to, which is weird because your optic nerve is just like very, very crazy and like sensitive. Mm-hmm. You don't realize it, but I have optic nerve damage now. So it's like little things are weird. It's like when I get in the car, when I'm driving the first like 30 seconds of driving, my eyes go blurry. And it's kind of scary. And I'm like,
why driving? Like, is it the distance
movement?
to it?
I think
there's like a lot of information coming in.
A lot of information because you're moving, right? Mm-hmm. And so my eyes have to like kind of adjust and snap in. I have to like really focus, and then they snap into place. I'm like, okay, I'm good. But like, it's never dangerous. Obviously, I wouldn't put myself behind the wheel if it was dangerous.
Sure.
Yeah. But yeah, it's interesting.
Takes you for a loop for a second.
Wow. Yeah, I'm just like focus, and then they snap into focus. I'm like, okay, good.
Is everything like colors are good and everything else is good?
Yeah, colors. I'm not colorblind or anything. It's just like, it's called photophobia. So it's like bloom lighting. Like so, I like it because I'm a photographer. I can explain this kind of well. I think it's like if you take a photo, right, and you edit it with contrast all the way up, or with highlights all the way up, and it's overexposed. And the darks are underexposed. And it's just this contrast that's very disorienting, right? And so it's like these like colored lenses, like I have red ones, I have these yellow ones, they help, right? It's like this,
is that the point?
Light right now, like over time, it's like if I didn't have these, it'd be like, oh God, it's very bright, right?
Really?
So
it helps regulate.
Yeah, LED lights are the worst.
Yeah.
But sunlight is fine. Weird.
Interesting.
And every time my body temperature rises, it gets worse. Mm-hmm. You know, so it's like
your eyesight will get worse as your body gets hotter.
It gets hotter. Wild. If I'm walking and I get hot, or if like, you know, the other night we went to get pho, and I was getting hot because the soup was hot.
Yeah.
Like my eyesight got really bad. I'm like, wow. And it's like Leslie had to drive us home. It's just like those little things. And so, you know, ice water, I trying to stay hydrated a lot.
Right.
Cold water.
Yeah.
Are you still drumming a lot? What's that world like?
So ever since the band played when we were young in October, I really haven't been playing much. But I miss it. I miss playing drums. I love it.
It's your escape.
I can play it now. I'm not worried about. I was scared about playing it for a while because like I didn't know if like I'd be dropping sticks left and right because you know the muscle weakness and that kind of stuff. But I just love drums, man. I grew up playing pots and pans when I was 3 years old. And, but I mostly play guitar and piano now.
Yeah, just producing mode and
you know. But and when I'm recording, it's like I'll get behind the E-kit and play. But that's great.
Dude, those E-kits are so fun.
I know.
Just load up whatever sounds you want into them.
I've been using like the Easy Drummer tune track, and it's they have a great library of music for drums. It's like all the samples sound incredible. Like you can't tell. Like they made it you really can't tell it's not real if you know what you're doing. Right?
Yeah.
Especially as a drummer, I'm always focused on how the drums sound, and they have to sound real, or I won't put it in the song. So it's interesting.
Yeah. Well, back in the day, you know, you were kind of limited to just whatever came inside the little box that was connected to the drum kit.
Oh my God.
Now you can load up whatever you want.
Yeah, you just plug it in MIDI and boom.
It's great. It's amazing.
Dude, there's so much innovation that has to happen there. Like, I want to be able to like plug my phone in via Bluetooth to that thing. Or, like, there's so much they could do with an E-kit.
Mine can do Bluetooth.
Oh,
Yeah.
can it really?
Yeah, I can
Can
play.
you change
I
the
can-
sound?
Oh yeah, you can play Spotify.
Well, I
through
can
it.
play Spotify and play along to it. Like if I'm using like
Yes.
the Roland sounds.
But can you control the drum brain through your phone?
No.
Okay.
They need to have an app. For
We're
that.
gonna
Yeah.
be millionaires, everybody.
Yeah.
Let's go.
It happened
Us
here.
three, we're
Yeah,
gonna
write
do
us up our check.
Yeah. Patent it tomorrow.
Elisis, I want to see a check in the mail pretty soon here.
Dude, I went to the Music City drum show
Oh, cool.
last year, which was great.
Yeah.
It talked about like an anxiety
Oh,
tunnel because it's just so loud.
Oh yeah.
stimulation overload.
You walk in, yeah, it's just like,
Everyone's playing a different beat at a different tempo.
nah, dude,
Binaural
everybody.
yeah,
It's just
probably has an opposite
quite
effect.
the totally opposite effect.
Scrambles your brain and makes you forget all your trauma.
yeah.
Makes you forget your name.
yeah.
But DW came out with like a $10,000 drum kit where it's an acoustic / electric kit. Cool idea.
That's
Very
what
cool
mine
idea.
is. The Roland kit is acoustic electric kind of.
Is
Really?
that wood shells?
It's wood shells, I think, and it looks like this, but the pads they're not pads, they're like mesh, but it's like
stop.
it looks like that. Yeah.
Can you
so it's
swap it out for regular heads if you wanted to?
Yeah, that's what,
Prop?
that's what the
I don't know.
DW
That's
I've
what
never
that one
done
is?
that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have the Roland VAD 506,
Oh, cool.
which
Okay.
is like they have.
I want to
like
look it
the-
up.
Check that out.
It's very cool.
VAD 506?
Yeah, VAD 506. It's like as a drummer, like I could play drums at midnight and no one would ever hear me. Upstairs.
That's awesome.
So it's so
Yeah.
fun. It's so fun. See, it looks like a real drum
cool.
kit.
I
Yeah.
bet you might be able to, because there's actual lugs.
I know.
You can
It's
make that an
very
actual
cool.
kit, I bet.
Okay, yeah.
That's
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah. It's fun.
Do you still
man.
have an
I have
acoustic
my-
kit
nice.
around?
Yeah, so I have an SJC kit.
Oh, sweet.
I always was an SJC artist. And it's funny because it's so dated though, because the kick drum, it's like a 22 by 20, I think. It's a massive kick drum.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's huge. It's like so long. I'm like,
Yeah.
I would not have anything over 16 or 18 now.
By
Yeah.
Right?
20?
Like it's 20.
Yeah.
It's so big.
Dude, that might be
yeah.
the one,
Big.
you know, when you first walk in, that sonar kit?
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw it. I think that might be 22 by 20 also.
Yeah, it's big and
It's
and
almost too big
it's
sometimes.
very boomy. And so,
Yeah.
but my snare drum is 3 millimeter thick of brass all the way around. It's
Ooh.
like 22 pounds. It's so heavy.
Dude, give me a
I bet
But
that
it's
thing
my
sounds like a
favorite.
shotgun.
It's
Yeah.
it's my favorite snare drum I've ever played with, ever recorded with.
Mm-hmm.
It's like so magical. It's cool. It's versatile. You can have it low, you can have it dry, or you can have it cracking high. And
Yeah.
it's just so good. I love it.
I feel like with that one right there,
Yeah.
that's the sonar compressor.
Yeah,
I just
love it.
I feel like I've just recently discovered like the magic of just any metal snare drum.
I got to bring mine over though. The brass is
Come on over,
is
dude.
Very fun.
Oh yeah, I bet that thing is
It rips.
sweet.
And when you mic up the side of the snare and like you really capture the sound of that metal, oh, that just sounds so good.
Man,
So
crack.
satisfying. That crack, baby.
talk drums. Love it.
Oh my gosh, dude. I mean, yeah. I don't know. It's so fun. It's so fun. Like learning like these different ways to mic
Yeah.
the drums. Like I sent you that photo the
Yeah.
other day.
Yeah.
I sent Jackson.
He just
like,
texted me, we tried something today.
That's all I said.
Nothing else. No other context. I was like,
I forgot the photo.
what'd you try? He's
We
like,
got
oh,
do you
whoops.
have the room mics in that room too.
We'll do that. Sometimes we'll
Yeah,
put it up in the
up
loft.
there.
And
Oh, that's
recently,
cool.
like I tracked drum just 2 days ago, and I put it
Yeah.
just in that coffee area over
Okay,
there.
that's cool.
Yeah, you had one of these Earthworks as like a kit mic
Yeah.
with the was it the Sennheiser
MD21.
MD20?
Vintage.
Mm.
But you know who I was just with a few days ago was Kyle May.
No way.
Yeah. And I mentioned that Leslie was
Oh my
helping because
God.
he's also a Berkeley dude,
Is he?
I think.
Or
Oh shit, that might be wrong.
Belmont?
Whatever. He knew you.
Yes, Kyle. May. Yeah, man, he's awesome.
He's a beast.
I know. I
But
love his drums, dude.
we were talking. It just everything sounds so good.
I know.
He was telling me he would put like right under the ride cymbal, like 2 different microphones. Kip said it first, but then I was talking about it.
Yep.
Just to get a full sound of the kit, and like one for low end and one for more attacky stuff. Like,
you know what I've been loving recently is pairing. I have it's like a clone of a D19, an AKG D19, which is really a really bright dynamic mic.
Yeah.
But then pairing it with a ribbon mic as just like mono overheads, but having 2 mono overheads side by side, and then blending them together. That's been my favorite nerding out thing.
You guys,
with
you
drums.
guys are awesome. I love this. This is so good. I love it.
We're nerds.
I know.
We love to nerd out.
I
about
know.
that.
It's so good,
That
man.
stuff.
is there anything else in this track that
There's the
stands
sad
out to you?
synth,
Sad,
the sad
synth.
dark chorus.
Yeah, let's see that
Thought we
guy.
were being happy here, but maybe just a touch of sadness.
I don't
Life's
know
about
why
balance,
it's,
baby.
I don't know why it's sad. Why is it so sad? Let's see.
It didn't have to be sad. Maybe that was the preset name.
You're not
Yeah,
feeling
it is the
sad right
preset
now?
name. I think.
I don't feel sad by that.
Okay, it was
That's
just-
not
It's
making
very
me sad.
Low.
Yeah, that's hanging underneath.
Yeah, and
Pretty
honestly,
low.
a lot of this is like EQing all the high end off.
Yeah.
It's just if it's high, the high end is just like it wakes you up. You want to like
Mm-hmm.
kind
Yeah.
of be mellow in the mids, and so that's kind of what I've been doing.
Yeah. What about panning? Do you shy away from hard panning and stuff
Yeah,
like that?
I do,
feel like that's probably
honestly.
distracting.
I do. Yeah. It is. I mean,
do you
it
do any
depends.
panning, or do you just kind of let it?
honestly, if you're using Omnisphere, like you're using a synth or a pad,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's stereo, and so it's doing.
There's already a
it's
little
already
bit of-
little. It's just it's pretty
There's
much.
going to be some motion.
But like on my master bus, I will definitely have it like spread wide, you know, and then just like the ozone, it just takes it to the next level.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
I gotta mess. I've never messed with ozone.
Dude, it's wild.
I
And it
love
has,
the
and it has
ozone
like the
imagery.
AI thing where you do play it
Yeah.
at the loudest part, and it's just like, oh, here you go, and it takes your mix to like,
Yeah.
Huh.
very good. I love it.
Interesting.
Yeah,
I'm gonna have to mess with it. Yeah.
yeah.
I think-
And I have you heard of Master Plan app? Or it's a not an app. It's a plugin. That's really good for widening your mix too.
Cool.
It's very cheap, but it does a great job. And it also can do like the mastering where it like makes it louder and everything, but I don't even use that. I just use the wide on that
yeah.
and have that on my master bus, and it's so good.
Interesting.
It's so good.
I took I used to do the S1 spreader whatever by Waves.
Yeah.
That would
Yep.
spread.
Yep.
And I took that to a mixer one day. I'm like, yeah, I put this on my master bus. And he was like, you should stop doing that. I was like, why? And he's like, it will mess with your low end a little bit. So he's like, I suggest you actually take that off your master bus. I'm not saying this is right. I don't know. I'm a drummer. But you take it off your master bus and you actually put it on like the tracks that you want to be wide. So I'll put it like on the drums.
Oh, yeah.
I'll put it on the vocal stacks.
Yeah.
So
a
the
la
things that are
carte.
wide. Yeah. So it's staying away from your low end because you
Yeah.
obviously don't want that spread.
No, definitely.
Just interesting.
Yeah, that
Maybe
is
think about it.
interesting. It's funny because like music is just subjective. So it's like,
Million%.
you know, like someone could tell you that that's not right or it is right, but then it just comes down to what you prefer to listen to and hear. And it's like,
Yeah.
if it sounds good to you, then do it. And I'm a believer of like, just work with what you got. You know, it's like,
Yeah.
you don't have to have the most expensive equipment. You don't have to have everything. It's just like, just make your art, work with what you got, and just be true to yourself. And if you like it, then that's all that really matters. You know, it's
Yeah.
like at the end of the day, we're making music to make the younger selves happy.
Yeah.
We're
because
just
that's
playing, dude.
Yeah, man, we're just
having
playing.
fun. We're just having fun.
Yeah.
Playing in our little sandboxes.
I know.
Totally.
Little sonic
Just-
sandbox.
Yeah.
I know, and
It's meant to be fun.
it's crazy when you're in the studio and you just time goes out the window because you're in that like that just like the
flow
perfect
state.
flow
Yeah.
state. Yeah, it just time doesn't exist. You know.
Yeah.
I
it's
have
the
to set
best feeling.
timers because otherwise I'll be like, I've been in here for so long. And
Yeah, that's what you want, though.
I know.
Dude, I mean, I'm sure there's an accountant out there that, like, says the same thing.
Yeah.
I don't understand it, but, like,
God bless them.
God bless them. We need them.
Yeah, we need.
I'm
we
sure
need
the
people
lady,
like that.
the lady that does my taxes totally experiences that for sure. But, like, it's so cool to be able to, like, do something that like that on a frequent basis.
Yeah.
You know, because there's some people that are accountants that want to do this kind of stuff, but can't do it as frequently as we're able to do it.
I know.
It's fun to do.
I know.
Just making tunes.
I schedule time for me to be in the studio now. It's like
Yeah, because you got a lot
every day.
going on.
Kind of have to.
we have a lot going on, and
Yeah.
so studio time is usually, for me every day. I have it at 8:30 every night. 8:30, I go into the studio and I'll either make a meditation song or I'll work on other stuff. Because obviously, if I only did meditation music, I'd probably just go crazy because it's too zen.
You need variety,
I
too.
have variety. So, you know, I've co-written with a lot of bands, and there's this one band that I love writing with. They're called Silly Goose.
Oh, I love Silly
And
Goose.
They're
You write
so
with
fun.
them?
Yeah, I did.
Dude,
that's
totally a
song.
Jackson
Oh my
band.
God,
It's
Rap Rock
totally
Jesus
a
is like
Jackson
lead
band.
singer's name is Jackson.
Is it really?
Yeah, and
dude, they're awesome.
yeah,
I love Silly Goose.
Tsunami is the song I did with them.
Do you really know Silly Goose?
Yes, 100%.
They-
They have.
So this is the song I did with them, Tsunami. And I have I co-wrote them, and they're doing their album now. And so
Cool.
there's 2 songs that I wrote there that's coming out with them too.
Do they come
So-
up to Nashville?
Yeah,
or
they come to.
something? Okay, cool. Because they're out of Atlanta, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they come to Nashville and write with people, and I was their first co-write ever,
Really?
which is really fun
Yeah.
because I'm just like I'm the type of person that all right, for the day I'm in the band.
Yeah.
You know, I'm in the
I am a
band.
member.
Yeah.
I'm
today.
a member of the band. I just want to just be here and just have fun.
Mhm.
And they're very creative. And
Yeah.
Jackson with his lyrics, it's like half the time we're just laughing at what he's coming up with because they're new metal, right?
Yeah.
And so
Okay.
their biggest influence is Limp Bizkit. I grew up on Limp Bizkit. So, before they come, anytime I do a song, like a co-writing session, I'm the type of person that likes to come with an idea.
Yeah.
Yes.
Come in with something.
Be prepared. Come with something that I think they would like or whatever. And 99% of the time they love it, and we go for it, and we just start writing the rest of the song. And so far it's worked out, and they're just so fun. And I just let them kind of just be free spirits and do whatever they want, and just if it's funny, let's do it. If it makes us excited, let's do it. And it's so fun. And so the complete opposite of meditation music is
It is
Silly Goose.
definitely the opposite of meditation.
If you're into rock or new metal or anything that's moshing, you need to see Silly Goose live, because he's one of the best front men I've ever seen in my life. I went to a show with them with 50 people in the crowd, and he would crowd surf, and they made them go to the bar and back. And he just controls the crowd, and they're so amazing. They went viral because they set up their van at a gas station outside of Lollapalooza last year, and they played the song Tsunami, and there was 600 people out there in the gas station, crowd jumping, and the cops coming, and and now this year, I'm excited for it.
That's awesome.
There's a lot of good things that they're gonna do, I think, and so that's just one band I've been working with.
That's cool.
Yeah,
That's
it's
really
fun.
cool.
It's
That's
so
so cool. I had no
love it.
idea.
yeah, I know, because we wouldn't think that Meditation Rob is gonna be writing new metal.
Well,
music,
you've got
too.
the pop
You need the
punk
balance.
background
Life is about balance.
That's right.
Yeah,
That's right.
Life's
Sure.
about balance.
It's so funny. I think it's such a small world. The amount of degrees of separation we've gotten between different people just from doing this podcast. The Irwin family, Silly Goose,
Doug the Pug.
Doug the Pug. We've had other people come in that have been oh, I hang out with this guy all the time, and it's some the most random person you could think of that is from our childhood, you know, and you're like, oh, you know that guy?
Oh
You
my
know?
gosh. So
The amount of times that's happened is crazy.
sometimes we'll do bands, which is like a freaking feat to bring them in, but
Yeah.
it's so
It's
fun
great.
to do.
Yeah.
And Jackson was like, I got a band from Colorado that's gonna come in. Like, oh cool. Like I'm from Colorado. Jackson lived
What's
in
the
Colorado.
band? What's the band?
In Plain Air.
Okay.
My band used to play with them all the time when I was living out there, and they're all like really good friends of mine. So
Cool.
they were coming through town and brought them in.
They're great. And Jackson was like, yeah, they got this really good drummer, Nate Tharp, right?
Yeah.
And Nate Tharp. I'm like, Nate Tharp? Like, I taught him. I taught him,
Taught him
like,
drums?
when I
No
was back
way.
in Colorado. They're like, oh, yeah, they're just on tour through Nashville. Like,
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay, well, let's have them come into the studio.
Yeah.
Like, what the hell?
That's really
so
cool.
crazy.
Man, life is very like there's so many full circle moments.
So
Yeah.
many.
You know, it's like
crazy.
It's very, very cool.
It's fun.
I
It's
love
fun to
that.
have. I mean, that was when I was with Kyle May, and I
Yeah.
mentioned what you guys were doing. Like, oh, yeah, I know.
Dude,
It's cool.
crazy.
Small world, dude.
Yep, it is.
I love it.
Well, is there anything you got going on that you want to plug? Is there any
If you've got a dog, check out nonipup.com.
nonipup.com?
We pride ourselves in ingredients because there's a lot of very horrible ingredients out there for dog products that are unregulated and actually harmful. So
Sure.
we pride ourselves in all natural, organic ingredients. So check it out. And Doug the Pug, check out Doug the Pug. Check out Time in Mind on Spotify, Apple Music, Pandora, wherever you want to listen to. And I hope it can bring you some peace. And just that's it.
Hell yeah.
Thank
Rob
you for doing
Chianelli.
this.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah,
This
thanks
is
so much for
awesome.
coming
This
in.
was fun.
Thanks for driving down the road,
I know we're neighbors, so
but also taking the time
long
to do
commute.
this.
Long
Yeah.
commute. I could have walked here in 10 minutes.
Maybe more when it gets warmer out, which is close to you. But
Yeah.
thank you for doing this, dude.
Yeah, thanks
I
so
do
much.
appreciate it.
Yeah, that's awesome.